Flash. I hope you guys have installed the software and downloaded the resources because you will need them for today. Okay, so is everybody is everybody done opening? Is everybody done? Okay, so now I'm going to teach you about how to use Flash. Yay. Okay. So is everybody looking at the same things as me? The setup of the interface. At the bottom should be our timeline. Okay, and this is your timeline, okay. If you use video editing softwares, you all should know what a timeline is. Okay, so timeline, yeah, I'm going to explain. You must be wondering where are the drawing tools. The drawing tools are on your most right. Most right, yeah, correct. So can everybody find it? Okay, so I think in our resources folder, we actually have we have actually included this PDF file. So you all can refer to it. It actually explains to you the functions of each drawing tool. Okay, it's quite it's quite intuitive. If you use Microsoft Paint, I think this one should be no problem. Except there are like some additional features I need to explain to you all. Okay. So now let us go back to our Flash software. While at the same time you all can refer to the PDF file. Okay. So the first thing we have here at the topmost is our selection tool. Is to select objects that are on screen. So let's say for example, let me draw a circle. I believe everybody know how to draw a circle. First you go to the oval tool, and then you click on the screen, and then you drag, and then you'll get a circle. Yay! This is not magic, okay? So if you want to select a circle and shift it around, okay, go to your selection tool, and then click on it, and then you can shift your circle around, right? But if you may notice that if your circle has an outline like this, there's an outline, okay. If you just click on the circle, you're actually only just clicking on the fill, F-I-L-L, the fill of the circle, okay? And you are not moving the outline. So how do you move the outline together with, how do you move the whole circle together with the outline? Because you have to take note that actually the fill and the line, right, in Flash are two different things. So you cannot, just using one click, you cannot select all of them. So there are two ways. First, you can double click on a circle, so you select the whole thing, and then you can move everything around together at the same time. Or you can actually drag a box to cover the whole circle. Yeah. So this is how you select stuff using the selection tool. And the difference between explaining to you that the fill and the outline are actually different things. Okay. And another thing you need to note is that things cannot overlap. Okay, what do I mean by things cannot overlap? So for example, I draw a black rectangle here, alright? Next, I'm going to draw a red circle. Okay, hold on. Okay, but by the way, you can actually move your interface around, as in all the toolbars. I'm going to shift this out because I cannot see. Okay, so I'm now going to draw a red circle. Okay, so this is your outline. Okay, so you can see these two things here. Okay, can everybody catch what I'm doing? So this is actually your pencil tool. The pencil. This one actually allows you to change the color of the outline. This one, okay. And actually, it's still a toolbar, but by the way, I just dragged the toolbar out so I can see all the tools. Okay. at the side is actually your fill color, which is the color for your shape, as in the coloring. So for example, you can look at the rectangle, it has a red outline and a black fill. Yeah. So now I'm going to switch around, and I want to draw a circle with a black outline with a red fill. Okay. So I just click on this button to switch the colors. Okay. After I switch, I draw a circle. Okay. So what do I mean by the shapes cannot overlap? So now I'm going to draw the red circle over the black triangle. Okay. Okay, so what do I mean by cannot overlap? Okay, so now I put the red circle over the black rectangle, and then I want to change the position of the red circle. Okay, so I select the red circle and I shift it around. I move to another place, and say, how come something magical happened? How come the rectangle is cut? There's a part that's missing. Okay, so that's what I mean by the things cannot overlap. But if you still want things to come on top of each other later on, if you still want things to come on top of each other, okay, you have to make use of layering, which is on your timeline, which I will explain later. Y'all don't have to worry for now. Okay. So now let me clear the screen. Okay. So there's another thing I want to explain to you about the selection tool is that you can actually adjust, change the shape of your object. So for example, now I'm drawing a square. Okay, I'll draw a square. Okay, and I'm going to show you something magical. Okay, so if you select your selection tool next, okay, and then hover your cursor over to the outline of your shape. Okay, you'll see a small tiny arc at your cursor. Can you see that? Okay, so just click on it. Okay, you just click and hold, and then you can actually mold the shape of the object. Okay. So using this, you can actually draw a lot of things just using your mouse. You can actually draw a lot of things. Okay. Actually, most of the resources that I have given you in your Flash file is actually drawn using the mouse. Yeah, all the beautiful drawings is all drawn using the mouse. Okay, so actually this is it for all the drawing tools. It's actually very simple, very intuitive. Y'all can explore it yourself. It's like Microsoft Paint. Okay, very easy. Okay, so is everybody still following? Am I going too slowly or am I too fast? Can I have a reply? Okay, can. So next, I'll explain to you about the timeline. Okay, so you can go to your PDF file again. Go to the second page. Yeah. So here I'll explain to you what is the timeline. So for the timeline, we have three things. The first thing is a keyframe. The second thing is a frame, and the third thing is a blank keyframe. Okay, what are all these things? No idea, man. Okay, so I'll explain to you. So first, I'm going to draw a circle again, because the circle is the easiest thing to draw. Okay. So the timeline actually shows how long your video is playing. It actually shows the length of your video or animation. Okay. So now our timeline, there's only one frame. Okay. Okay. By the way, I need to explain to you. How long is the video if the video only has one frame? How long is the video if the video only has one frame? Okay. So the default setting in Flash, okay, 1 second is 24. 1 second is actually 12 frames. Yeah, do you get what I mean? So for example 12 frames. Okay, so I extend the timeline. So now there are 12 frames on the timeline. This 12 frames is actually 1 second. Okay. So if you want to make your video or your animation to go faster, okay, how you can change your frames per second, the frame rate. So how do you change the frame rate? first go to properties. You must be wondering where's the properties, right? So, okay, you know your drawing tools is at your most right. Just its left neighbor, just on its left, immediate left. Okay, you can see this properties icon. Okay, just click on it, and then you will see under here frames per second. Okay, so if you open up, if right now you are actually in my resource, the resource, as in the resource folder, the resource file that we have provided is actually at 24 frames. Okay, so I actually edited to make the animations look smoother. Okay, actually the faster the frame rate, the smoother the animation. So from this particular resource file, I put it at 24. By the way, you all should open the resource file. Okay, not just open Flash. Okay. Okay, so let's go on to explaining about what is a blank keyframe, a keyframe, and a normal frame. Okay, so now because our animation is at 24 frames per second, so one frame is 1/24 of a second. Yeah, so which is damn fast. It's faster than the blink of an eye. So you want people to see more of your circle. So I want people to see the circle for 1 second. Okay. So because it's 24 frames per second, so I'll click on the timeline. I'll click on the slot number 24. Okay. And then I press this magic button on the keyboard. Okay. The magic button is F5. So everybody click on F5 now. Like press the F5 button now. Then, wow, you'll see that you'll see that the timeline is extended. Okay. So all these things are all normal frames. So how do you play the video? Just press enter. Okay. Yeah, and then the animation will run. Okay, now I'll show you guys the next thing. Okay. Now next I have the circle, but I want to make the circle disappear. Okay, so how do I make a circle disappear? This will be the next button. Okay, the next button I'm going to teach you is the F7 button. So on frame 25, press on your F7 button. Then your circle actually disappeared. Okay. So if you press enter again, yeah, it'll be like this. Okay. So now I want the circle to not just disappear but turn into something else. So at your blank keyframe, maybe I want it to turn into a square. So at your blank keyframe, I'll draw a square. Okay, and then you just press enter again. You'll see the circle will turn into a square. So do you all understand the difference between do you all understand what's a blank keyframe now? The blank keyframe actually clears the timeline for you to draw something new on it. Okay? And a normal frame just extends the timeline. So now I want to so what's the keyframe? So the keyframe actually extends the timeline also. Okay? It extends the timeline, but it allows you to make changes to your current frame without affecting the previous frame. So for example, on the next frame, okay, on the next frame, I press on my F6 button. You'll create a new keyframe, and then I change the object on my current frame. It will not affect, okay, what is on the previous frame. Yeah, so that's the keyframe. Okay, so I extend it again. Yeah, so congratulations, you have made your first animation. Okay, so remember these three buttons which are very important, your F5, F6 and F7 buttons, which is to create a frame, a keyframe and a blank keyframe. So if you guys forget or don't remember, you all always can refer to your PDF. And but if you don't use F5, F6, F7, it's still fine. You can right click on the timeline and select whether you want to insert a keyframe or insert a blank keyframe, or just insert a normal frame. Yeah, it's quite easy lah. So if you want to remove frame, it's very intuitive. Just highlight, okay, right click and remove. Yeah, that's it. Okay, so now I'm going to teach you what are the functions that you can, what are the things you can do with a keyframe. What are the functions you can do with your timeline. So if you right click, you can actually see there are a lot of things. There's like motion twin, shape twinning, classic twinning. What actually all these things? All these things are actually to help. As in the first three things that you see, all the twins, motion twin, shape twinning, classic twin. These are the things to actually help you make things move. Okay. So I'm going to show you what is a shape twin. So you all pay attention now because I'm going to show you magic again. So first I'm going to draw a square, okay? And then maybe 2 seconds later, 2 seconds will be on frame 48. So on frame 48, I create a new keyframe. Okay, a keyframe. And then I want to change the shape of the object. Okay, so you all should know how to change the shape of the object. Okay, like this. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to make the square from this, it will turn into this. It will slowly extend like this. It will slowly extend and become like this. Okay, that's what I want to do. So how do I do that? So here I have the initial shape is a square, and then a deformed square. Okay, and in between I right click on a timeline and I click on create shape twin. Okay. So what happens now is it actually connects this is what will happen. The square will start to move on its own to reach its final shape. Yeah. Okay. Please don't think too much. Okay, so this is actually a shape twin. It's very easy to do. And the next thing I'm going to teach you is the motion twin. Okay, motion and classic twin. So if you right click, you can see that other than the shape twinning, there's actually a classic twin and other stuff. So I'm going to show you the other kind of twins. Okay, you have to first remove the twin. Remove and then you remove the whole thing. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to teach you is, so now you know how to make things move already, and you know how to use the timeline. Probably we can start an exercise on making a bouncing ball. How to make a ball, how to create a bouncing ball. So a ball is usually a circle. So again, let us draw a circle. So what we want to do now is, we want to make the circle bounce, okay? You will, from this is the starting position, you will move here, okay? And then hit this the ground, and then after you hit the ground, it will bounce up, okay? So we're going to do this using twinning, but we're not going to use shape twinning. The first thing I'm going to teach you is what is a symbol and what is a library, okay? Before I move on, I have to teach you what is a symbol. So if you look at your toolbar beside your drawing toolbar, okay, there's actually, other than the properties icon, there's another thing which is called your library. Okay, so what is the library? So you all can click on it, and this thing will appear. So if you're actually using, you're actually at the resource. If you are using the resource folder, in the resource file, you will see that there are already some resources provided for you in the library. So the library is actually a place for you to store like objects, to store things. Okay. Now I want okay, what do I mean by things? Okay, the things are actually symbols. So what are symbols? So I'm going to explain to you now. Okay, so I want to store my ball into the library. Okay, as one of its one of the resources stored in the library. Okay, so I'm going to select the whole circle. Okay, and I'm going to press you have learned F5, F6, and F7. So can you guess what is the next button? What's after, okay, 5, what's after 5? 5.1. Yeah. Okay, anyway, let me tell you the answer, because it seems like I'm the only clever one here. So after F7 is F8, okay? So just click on the F8 button, okay? This window will appear. It says convert to symbol. So it's asking you to convert the thing that you have highlighted into a symbol, and the symbol is a thing that is stored in the library. Okay, so let me just name it ball, okay? And click on OK. By the way, if you see a type here, right, there are a few types of things. There's a movie clip symbol, there's a button symbol, and there's a graphic symbol. I recommend using the graphic symbol. Okay, the button symbol and movie clip symbol is more of when you are doing game programming using Flash or some interactive stuff using Flash. So if you're just making like animation, making things move, just select graphic. Okay, so ball, let's call it ball and click OK. So if you open your library now, you actually see that there's a ball symbol in your library. So you can actually drag a lot of balls into the stage. Yep. And now you find that actually the outline of the ball, of the circle, and the fill color of the circle is actually together now. So now you don't have to double click, now you don't have to, just have to click on it once and you can move it around. And you can put multiple things, multiple copies of it on the stage, on the screen. Okay, so if you want to change, but then you see, but then now I cannot like change. If I want to edit the circle, what should I do? I don't need it to be a circle anymore. I want it to, I want to change its shape. So you can double click on the circle. It will actually bring you into the symbol, and you can edit the shape. Okay, so like this. Yeah. So if you notice, if you change the shape, the rest of the objects will change together at the same. Will change together also. Yeah. So this is the use of a symbol to allow you to efficiently like make changes to your objects, and also to easily drag things out like from the library. So it's to store your object in the library. Okay, and also other than shape twin, there's a motion twin and a classic twin. The motion twin and the classic twin can only be applied to your symbol, to a symbol, okay? And shape twinning cannot be applied to a symbol. Shape twinning can only apply to shapes, okay? So now, I believe everybody have their circle, their ball symbol, okay? So I'm going to show you how to make a bouncing ball using this thing called motion twin, okay? So first, everybody click on F5 on somewhere on the timeline to expand the timeline, okay? And then after you have done that, right click on the timeline and select create motion twin. Okay? After you have selected that, I want the ball to move from the left side to the right side. Okay, I want it to move this way, from the left to the right. And I want it to move to the right on frame 35 or rather 36. Okay? So on frame 36, I'm going to click on frame 36, and then I'm going to shift it to the place where I want the ball to move towards. Yep. So after you've done that, you should be able to see this, where there are a lot of dotted lines showing. It actually shows you the movement of the ball from left to right. Okay. So if you press enter, ta-da, your ball is moving. Okay. So actually this motion twinning actually shows you the path where the ball, where your object is actually moving. So you can actually adjust, like change direction, where change the movement, the path, the motion path of the object by clicking on the line, on the path, and just shifting it. So I want it to move down, to move in a curve. So I just adjust the path and I click enter. to play the animation, you can see that the ball will move in the way you want it to. Okay? So is everybody still following? Okay, so now I want to make a ball bounce. Okay, so like I mentioned just now, we are going to make a bouncing ball. Okay, so that is quite easy. So maybe on frame somewhere here, okay, I'm going to make the ball move downwards. Okay, and then over here, I'm going to make the ball's going to bounce here when you reach the ground, and then you're going to move upwards. Yeah, so that now you have a sharp V shape. So just press enter. Yeah, so now the ball is bouncing. Actually, this is a bad example. I'll teach you how to make a nicer looking ball bouncing animation later on. Okay. So making making a ball bounce is not enough. You want to make a lot of ball bounce together. So how do you make that? Are you going to make a lot of ball, like, are you going to do this a lot of times? Like, you want to make 100 balls bounce together at the same time. So you're going to do this motion twinning, the same steps for 100 times. Of course, I'm not going to be so stupid. Of course, there's a way to go around it. So actually, you can change. Actually, for your symbols, just now I show you how to turn the ball, a simple shape, into a symbol. Do you know that you can also turn an animation into a symbol? If you know, you won't be sitting here. So let me show you how to do that. So first, you can highlight all the frames in your timeline. Okay, cut your frames, and go to insert, new symbol. Okay, once you click on it, you ask you to name your new symbol. Let's call it ball bounce animation. Okay. Okay, now you'll be this is the place where you edit your symbol, like create a new symbol. On the timeline, right click, paste frames. Okay. Okay. So now click on scene 1. Scene 1 is actually the place where the previous place are. Okay. So click on scene 1 to get out of this symbol editing mode. Okay. And go to your library. You will see that there's actually a new item in your library. It's called ball bounce animation, and you can actually play it here. And similar to your simple shape symbol, you can place your animated symbol into the screen by dragging from the library. And you can make a lot of ball bounce by dragging a lot of it out into the stage. Yeah. Yeah, so now you have 4 balls bouncing without doing the same thing 4 times. Yeah, okay. I hope everybody's still following. Am I going too slowly? Okay, the next thing I'm going to show you is about the same, but it's not motion twinning. It's actually called classic twin. Okay, it's an alternative to motion twinning that you also can use. The result will be about the same. It is just another way for you to do things. Okay, so again, go to your bouncing ball. Go to your library and let us work with the ball symbol again. Okay, but instead, you remember last time when we were working on motion twinning, we actually right click and create motion twin first before we do. That's the first step. Okay, but now we don't do that as our first step. Now our first step is we are going to set our keyframes, as in set the position of the ball first before we twin it. Okay, so maybe over here, halfway through from frame 135, halfway through, I'm going to create a new keyframe. Okay, so press F6, and then you bring your ball to the next position that you guys want to move towards, and then after that, the ball's going to move up at the end. So you create a new keyframe at the end again, press F6, and then you shift. Okay, so now it's going to be like this. Okay, so you want the ball to move from here to here to here, move smoothly, okay, from between the 3 positions. You just have to right click in between the 2 keyframes and select classic twin. Okay, create classic twin. Okay, so you will see the ball moving. Okay, You do the same for the second part. Create classic twin. Yeah. So you can see that it's actually about the same thing as your motion twin. It actually is the same effect, but it's actually just a different way for you to do things. Personally, I actually prefer using the classic twin because older versions of Flash do not have the. Because motion twin is actually a new thing, so the previous versions of Flash do not have it. So I'm actually more familiar with classic twin. But if you think that the motion twinning is actually better for you or easier for you, you can go ahead to use it. Okay. Okay, so actually this is all for about like the basic functions of Flash. Okay, it's all very easy, very intuitive. Yeah. So the next thing I'm going to show you is maybe more of animation techniques. Okay. So how do you make the? Let's see. Look at this bouncing ball. Does this bouncing ball looks realistic? It's like it's quite dead, right? There's no life to this ball. Okay. So now I'm going to like show you some of the animation techniques that you can use to make your animation look nicer. Okay. So first I'm going to show you this video. This video actually teaches you the 12 principles of animation. So what are they? They're actually techniques for that you can use to make your animation look nicer. Okay, so I'm going to show you this video, so just sit back and enjoy.
The following has been paraphrased from The Illusion of Life by Frank Thomas and Ollie Johnston. Squash and stretch. This action gives the illusion of weight and volume to a character as it moves. Anticipation. Prepares the audience for a major action the character is about to perform. Each major action is preceded with specific moves that anticipate for the audience what is about to happen. Staging. It's the presentation of an idea so that it is clear. Straight ahead and pose to pose. Pose to pose is charted with key drawings done at intervals throughout the scene. Straight ahead animation starts at the first drawing and works drawing to the end of the scene. Follow through and overlap. When the main body of the character stops, all other parts continue to catch up to the main mask. Nothing stops all at once. Slow in and slow out. As the action starts, we have more drawings near the starting pose, one or two in the middle, and more drawings near the next pose. Fewer drawings make the action faster, and more drawings make the action slower. Arcs. All actions, with few exceptions, follow an arc or slightly circular path. Arcs give animation a more natural action and better flow. Secondary action. It's an additional action in the scene used as a supplement of the main one in order to reinforce it and add more dimension. Timing. More drawings between poses slow and smooth the action. Fewer drawings make the action faster and crisper. Timing maintains the appearance of an object abiding by the laws of physics. Exaggeration. Remain true to reality, just presenting it in a wild or more extreme form. Solid drawings. It means taking into account forms in three-dimensional space, giving them volume and weight. Appeal. It's a quality of charm, able to please the viewer's eyes. It's the charisma of the action.
Okay, so as you can see on the video, with these basic principles of animation, even though it's just a cube, okay, you can actually make it look more interesting. Okay, so I'm going to show you another example is this video actually shows you Rayman Origins, which is a video game, and how these things are being applied. All these principles of animation is being applied to make the characters of the game look more, lively, and to make it, just the animations more appealing, okay. So I think it's actually explaining, trying to apply the principles to the introduction scene of Rayman Origins. Yeah. So y'all can just watch. Okay, yeah, okay, so let's get back to our workshop. Okay, so now if you go to your library, okay, let me just remove all these things. Okay. Okay, so if you go to a library, I actually have provided you with a lot of like resources. Say for example, we have our ball example. Okay, so this is actually a bad example of a ball bouncing. Okay. Yeah, so this is actually the bad example. But I've also provided a good example, which is wait, hold on. What the heck? Okay, so I also have provided you with some other examples with, okay, so if you remember some of the principles of animation, there are a few things. There's the timing, easing in and easing out, stretch and squash, anticipation, moving in arcs, okay? So I'm going to apply the first thing to a bouncing ball, okay, which is timing. So if you look at our resource, okay, under the folder, ball example, and just bring up ball timing. Okay, can you see that? What's the difference between the first one and the second one? Can you see that the first thing is, oh okay, by the way I forgot to explain to you this thing about timeline. So can you actually see this at this small corner here? Can you actually see these two rectangles that are overlapping each other? It's actually called the onion skinning. It's actually called onion skin, the onion skin. So just click on it, okay? You'll see that there's this thing over here at your timeline, like a small extension, okay? What it actually does is, if you extend it, it actually allows you to see what is happening in the previous frames. Okay, it's actually not. Wait, hold on. Oh, it doesn't work on symbols. You have to actually go inside the symbols to look at them. Okay, so let me go inside one of the symbols. Now you can see. So this is actually what happens in a bouncing ball with timing is it actually moves very slowly at the top, and then as it comes down, it moves faster and faster and faster until it hits the ground. Okay. And then it will move. It will leave the ground at a very fast speed, and then it gets slower and slower and slower again. So how do you make things move slower and how do you see if the thing is moving slow or moving fast? Okay, you actually look at the distance between the two objects. So you see they are actually, the positions are very close to each other. They are actually moving very slowly. Then it moves faster and faster and faster, and then it hits the ground, and then it comes up fast, and then it gets slower again. Okay, so this is actually timing being applied to a bouncing ball. Y'all can explore this yourself. Yeah, because it seems like I'm running out of time. Actually, I'm wanting to show you how to do it, but I think by knowing how to do motion twin and classic twin, y'all should be able to like explore and do it yourself lah. Okay. So what about stretch and squash? So that's just timing. What if you apply another thing to your animation? Let's apply stretch and squash this time. Okay. So that's ball final. Just bring ball final out. Okay, into your stage. Okay, and you press enter. Yeah, something like this. Okay. So what happens? What's the difference between this and the previous one is, okay, let's double click and go into the symbol again. Okay, and click on onion, the onion skin option. Okay. Wait, hold on. Okay. So you can actually see that when it goes down, okay, and when it's at the top, it's round, okay. But then as it moves downwards, it actually stretches, okay, until it hits the ground, and then it's squashed before it extends itself again, before it stretches itself again as it moves upwards, and then it goes back to its original shape at the top, okay. Another thing you can see is that our first version of our bouncing ball, the ball is actually going straight in a sharp V shape, but this time there's an arc, okay. So it actually gives you another layer of liveliness to your animation. So this is something you can take note. And you can see from here, everything is made using classic twin. As an exercise, all this can also be made using motion twinning. So as an exercise at home, you can also just try out making this animation using motion twin instead of the classic twin. Okay, so let me just quickly show you some of the other things that I provided in your library. Oh, by the way, if you want to, you can actually use my cube monster symbol. That's just I have a cube monster symbol that's just a shape. It's a shape symbol, okay, in the library, so you can just play around with it. Okay. By the way, all these resources you cannot use them in GameCraft because these are my drawings. Okay. And all these things are done using the mouse, except for the last one, except for this. Okay. This is actually a walk cycle. Actually, I wanted to show you guys how to make a walk cycle, but it looks like I don't have time. But you can actually just refer to the resource I've given you in the flash file. Yeah. So you can actually twin an animated symbol. Okay, so for example, I want to make the guy walk from right to left. Okay, so just right click, motion twin. Okay, so at the end, I let it go to the right, left. I mean, okay. Then press enter. Yeah, so it's moving now. Okay. And there are also other things. There's this thing that I want to show you, which is quite important, which is okay. So actually, you can go into your symbol just by double clicking on the object in the library. Okay. So for example, now I want. Oh, by the way, this is a bad example of a run cycle. Okay. So you see, it's just quite rigid. So this is a bad example, but with all the principles of animation you have learned, you can actually make something like this. Yeah. So how are all these actually made? So actually, let me go into the symbol by double clicking on it. Okay. Okay, here. So you can see, wow, look at the timeline. A lot of things. Yeah, there's actually a lot of things. There's actually one layer for everything that you see on the screen. So for example, there's actually one layer for the front forearm, which is this thing. Okay. One layer for the hand. Okay. One layer for the head, and just one layer for everything. And then I twin them separately in different layers. So it becomes like this. They are actually working separately. Oh yeah, by the way, I haven't teach you guys how to make a new layer, right? So you all must be confused, what layering. Okay. But anyway, I'm sorry, okay? So anyway, to create a new layer, I believe you all know what are layers, right? Okay. So it should be quite intuitive. Over here, in your timeline, you can see new layer, okay? Just click on it, and then you create a new layer. You can see layer 2 here is a new layer. You want to change the name of the layer, just double click on the text, okay, and then you can just change text, okay. Yeah, okay. So now I don't want this layer anymore because actually this layer is actually useless, so I want to delete it. You can just click on the dustbin to delete it. Okay. Yep. So this is how you actually make a running man animation. Cannot go too much details into this. You can actually see that the stretch and squash the stretch and squash principle of animation is actually applied. See, now it's actually stretching its legs, and then when it goes down, you know, it's sort of squashed. Like it looks like it's becoming smaller. I don't really know how to explain, but I think you should get what I mean. Okay, and also it's actually moving in an arc. Okay, so for example, you look at the hand. The hand is moving in an arc. Okay, instead of just moving straight like a robot, like the bad example I showed you just now. Okay, and you can see it's actually moving up and down, up and down. Okay, so these are the things that you need to look out for if you want to make something nice. Okay, so there are also other things. For example, there is well, there's an explosion. There's an explosion example. Wait, hold on. Okay. There's an explosion example. It's in this is not a very good yeah, this is an explosion example. There's also other things. Maybe you can because I know all these things you need to use in your game, like projectiles, like explosions, so I just include it in the example, so maybe you can use them for game craft. And actually, not using my pictures for game craft, but using the same idea or the techniques that you see here. Okay, so if you want to explore, just double click on it, and you will go get into a symbol, and you'll see how the things are done now. Okay, so this is actually the gun. Let me just show you. The gun animation. Okay. Or you can actually you can put multiple symbols onto the screen. So for example, I want the gun to shoot someone maybe. So I'll just yeah, because it's just an example. Okay, so everything is there for you, I believe, and just look at how, I can't really teach you, how to make things look nice, like animate things nicely, but all you can do is just to look at all the resources I give you, and just explore on your own now. Okay, but this kind of things I can't teach. I can't teach you how to draw, correct? Okay, so oh yeah, one last thing. So you have done all these things here already, but how do you put them into your how do you put them into Unity? How do you put them into GameMaker? Of course, you have to export the pictures out. Okay, so how do you export the pictures? So firstly, you go to your library. I want to export say the run animation, okay, into a sprite sheet. You guys know what are sprite sheets, right? Yeah. Okay. So just right click on your on the run animation. You'll see that there's this thing called generate sprite sheet. Okay. Click on it. Yep. Okay. So I think the general settings are the default settings are actually good enough. So just click on export. Yeah, correct. So after you export, you'll be able to see. Wait, wow, this is messy. Okay, so you actually see this thing. Okay, so this is actually your sprite sheet. Okay, so if you don't want to generate a sprite sheet, you want to generate each picture, each frame of an animation as a picture by itself. You can do that too. So just right click again and export your animation in as a PNG sequence. Okay, so just select where you want to export your files. Let me see. Let's go to Flash Workshop. Okay, just save, export. Okay, so now if you go to your file, you'll see this. Now each frame is being exported as its own like picture, PNG picture. Okay, so with all these things, you can actually put them into your GameMaker source or Unity source code to make things smooth and yeah, for your sprites. Okay, so actually there's nothing really. There's really isn't anything else for me to show you other than for you to go home and explore the resources that I provided you with. Okay, so actually this is it. Thanks. Okay, so I hope the past 4 weeks has been useful to you, and we hope to see you at GameCraft. Alright? Okay. Oh yeah, so now you all can actually come down for sign-ups, GameCraft sign-up, and maybe if you're not a member, if you're not a GDG member yet, and you find that wow, GDG is so cool and so fun, I want to learn more about game design and development, and maybe to draw nice pictures like me, you can actually come down and register as members, or you can also just come down and register for GameCraft this Saturday. Okay, thanks.